I've got these two 5x6 Oatey pen liners. I have kept them rolled up for about a week in order to reduce the creases. My shower is 5x5 with a curb that is 6 inches above the ground. As per the TCNA, I have to be 3 inches above that. That means 9 inches in all. That means I have to add at least 18 inches to my 5-foot side of the liner and 6 inches to the 6-foot side of the liner. On top of that, I have to go above and around the curb, which adds, of course, another 6 inches because my curb is 6 inches. So I have to add, that's 2 feet in all to the 5-foot side and a foot in all to the 6-foot side. I'm going to add more than that just to be on the safe side, but that's really all I need. I have my X15 glue and some gloves, some stones to keep my 2x4s down while I glue, and so now I'm gonna start that job. Went a lot better with these flat wood pieces as opposed to my 2x4s. I also tried to touch up a joint just for aesthetic reasons, which was useless, so I'm not going to pursue that. I used about half my X15 473 milliliter bottle. The rest will be used for the curb corners, which also came with the pan liner. And for good bonding, it's about an hour. For excellent bonding, it's 24 hours. So I am going to wait 24 hours before I use this. Now today I'm going to do my pan liner. To do so, I'm going to use an Oatey PVC 5x6 liner, actually 2 of them, because I had to add some sections to make it a 7x7 pan liner, because as per the TCNA, I have to be 3 inches above my 5-inch curb, and so I needed more length to do it. You can also do your pan liner with waterproofing membrane like Red Guard, available at Home Depot, or Aqua Defense Maple Elastic membrane by Mapei, available at Renault Depot. Now, apart from being a bit more expensive, you do require some tape around around your shower, and that is the only problem with this option, is that I couldn't find a tape that was tall enough to go above my shower curb, the 3 inches as per the TCNA that I need to go above my shower curb. So if you can find a tape that can go that high, then you're okay, and you can use Red Guard or you can use a Maple Elastic product. Otherwise, in my case, I'm going to stick with a PVC liner. Now, as you can see, I've got some Red Guard on the ground. I used Quikrete 1103 with Fortifier for my pre-pitch. Now, the pre-pitch went well. I used Goof Proof, and I'm flush with the flange. As per their spec sheet, I had to let it cure for 24 hours. I let it cure for 72. And within a week, I started having little cracks. Now, that kind of worried me a bit, and so unlike the Quikrete representative told me, I could have used this for my mortar bed, but I'm not going to. And I sealed all those little cracks with Red Guard before I put my pan liner. So now I'm all set to go. I'm ready to install my pan liner. I've got my plastic is up, and because the plastic that I put on is going to have to go over the pan liner, I've got my grooves in my structure. It's 2 of them that I had to add on after installation because I didn't know I needed them, and so I'm ready to go. Now, As per the TCNA handbook, I'm going to have to do a water test. Because of that, my installation of the pan liner is going to be twofold. Initially, I'm only going to install it temporarily. By using a plumbing putty around the flange of my drain assembly, I'm going to put down the pan liner all around, temporarily around the shower, and I'm going to put the clamping ring over my X-head screws after I do some holes for them. Once the clamping ring is installed, I'm going to fill up the pan liner with about 2 inches of water for 5 hours. After that's done, I'm going to check for leaks. Now, in order to drain the water, I'm either going to use my shop vac, which is a good idea if you want to redo it after checking and repairing leaks. If you do cut out the drain in order to drain your water, well, your test has become a one-shot deal. If you need to redo the test, you will have to buy a Cherney test ball or a test plug. Once your water test is done and successful, then you can do a full assembly of your pan liner by installing it with a silicone bead around the flange of your drain assembly and putting some PVC safe adhesive in order to keep your pan liner from shifting, also to put some adhesive around your shower curb, and using roofing nails or staples to staple the pan liner or nail the pan liner around your shower. Now here is the water test in progress. I've used about 4 or 5 staples to hold up the liner, and there are no air bubbles coming up, which is good. So we'll see in 4 or 5 hours. So I let this sit overnight instead of the required 4 or 5 hours. I'm just gonna, I've got a leak, so I'm gonna repair that. Now I looked some more under my liner here, and I've got some real problems with water infiltration in my liner where I did my joints, so I must have done them the wrong way. So I'm going to use the shop vac to empty this and see what I can do. Now I'm using a 6.5 6.5 gallon 3 horsepower shop vac to do this, and I removed the filter and the ring, and I'm gonna suck up the water. As you can see, you leave the sponge on. This is my third bucket, and so once I'm done, I'm going to dry out the sponge. You can't leave it there for even 24 hours, or else you're going to get some really bad smells in your sponge. Now I'm going to mark the areas where I found the leaks, and there's a lot of them where my seals are, and I'll try to fix that. Now there's a lot of leakage where my double overlap, where I did my double overlap in the corner, so not very good. All in all, it was a good thing I did the test. Very disappointed with the result. I'll see what I can do. Now, on certain YouTube videos, they use plumber's putty in order to do the final installation of the pan liner on the flange. Now, in order to remove the liner, I took off the screws and I put them back in. But as you can see, there's water infiltration there. And so I'm going to follow the Oatey site suggestion to use 100% silicone to do my final installation of the pan liners. So another good thing to know. Now, I've never seen any videos on how to repair a pan liner after a failed water test, so I'm going to base myself on a bicycle tire repair, and I'm going to use some PVC liner I have left over, and I'm going to do a patch. Just trying to repair this seam here doesn't seem right because the water might come out at any point in this seam. So I've decided to do a large patch, which I'm going to stick on with X15 Oatey glue, and then redo my water test after that. As for the bigger issue, the corner where I have a double glued corner here, I'm going to do what I should have done initially and put it over the curb here. So I'm going to flip the liner 90 degrees, align it with my screw holes, and make sure that this side is on the outside. I'm still going to patch it up, but since this is a very thick seam, I'm going to make sure that it's on the outside, and most of it will be cut off, so that'll solve my problem. Now I'm just about to reinstall my pan liner for a second water test. I've done two things different here on the flange of my drain assembly. I've thickened the plumber's putty. I put in another bead, and I've put some around my X-head screws to see if that makes any difference in the water infiltration. I've also dried out all the water, and so I'm ready for my second test. Now here's my second water test in progress with the problem area over the curb where it's going to be less of a problem, and so we'll see how that goes in 24 hours. Okay, this is the second water test. It's been sitting there for 24 hours, so I'm going to take the water out with the shop vac and see if I have any leaks. Okay. Okay, I just removed the staples, and now I'm going to check for leaks. So, that looks like it's the old leak, because that's still seeping through from the plastic, so that's fine. That's the old leak. So far so good. Nothing here. And the patch has worked. So my patch here, it has worked. There's no leak there, and there shouldn't be here. Now let's see how the plumber's tape went. No, not that great, eh? Look at that. So I'm going to retry this with 100% silicone bead around the screws and around the flange of the drain assembly, as per the Oatey video on the installation of the pan liner, and see how that goes. But everything else is fine. I'm just gonna dry out this section here from my old leak that is still seeping through from under the wood, and I'll be able to install my pan liner if the seal works. Okay, so I've aligned my liner that already has its holes in it because I've done 2 water tests. I put a lot of silicone. I'm using 100% silicone for kitchen, bath, and plumbing from GE. Unlike the Oatey's video, I'm not putting a little bead, I'm putting a lot. I figure the clamp is going to clamp it down, and then if there's one thing I learned from the plumber's putty, is that putting some around the screws is a very good idea, because the water seepage, although there was some, it dried out with the heat gun quite fast. So I'm putting down my liner, and then I'll do another water test. I just created one hell of a mess here, so I'm gonna clean this up, let it dry, and see, and I'll do my water test after. Okay, now after cleaning up my silicone mess, I've made the clamp removable. I'm going to leave it there for 3 hours for the silicone to set, and then I'm going to do a water test. Now this is the latest water test that I let stand for about 12 hours. It is just to test the seal between the pan liner and the flange of the drain assembly, so we'll see how that went. I'm going to show you the results of my latest test. Very, very good. Now, as you can see, this is where the contact is made. No water infiltration. Very nice. Very nice. Very dry. So I'm ready for the rest of the installation. No more water tests. Now it's a good thing I put in my plug with all the silicone that's in there, so I'm going to clean that up and go on with the installation. I just used the cutter to cut out the silicone. Okay, so I installed the clamping ring. You can also install the clamping ring the other way around if ever you need 3/4 of an inch more for your mortar bed. So in my case I don't, so I put it this way. And I'm putting on a plug to prevent any debris from going in. Now I'm going to be using Lepage construction adhesive, available. I bought it at Home Depot. I'm sure Renault Depot has the same thing. It is PVC safe, and I'm going to use it to stick the pan liner onto the pre-pitch. It's not required to do so. It's a question of choice. I'm choosing to do it because I want to reduce the creases and to reduce the shifting of the liner as I put on the mortar bed that's going to come afterwards. Now I put a mark on my structure where the liner has to be 3 inches above the curb, so in my case about 8 inches off the floor. So I put a line all around, and I'm going to put my galvanized roofing nails above that. So as you can see, I mostly used adhesive close to the drain and onwards, because it's more important for the creases to disappear around the drain than anywhere else.
Big mistake coming up here. When I used the adhesive on the curb, I forgot to spread it with a throw roll. This ended up creating lumps under my liner, and I eventually had to remove the pen liner from my curb and remove those lumps and then put it back. So if you are going to use glue, make sure to spread it with a throw roll. Although you don't have to use glue if you don't want to, you can actually put the liner on the curb without using glue.
Now I just finished the installation of my pan liner. As you can probably notice, I didn't put any nails on the top of the curb, only on the outside of the curb, and that is as per the TCNA handbook. A very likable YouTuber was saying if you have a flood going on in your shower, the nails on the top of your curb are the least of your problem. I beg to differ. I think my water test proved that. Over the 20-year span of the life of your shower, the water that'll come down your shower curtains or your shower glass doors will create a situation rife for mildew within your structure if you poke holes in it. So if you're going to poke holes in your pan liner, you might as well not have a pan liner. Also, you may have noticed those corner pieces. 2 of them came with each pan liner. You can use only one on each corner if you like. I use two because I have them. Also very important to note, when you use the X15 Oatey glue, and when you to wait 1 to 3 minutes before you stick both surfaces together. Now that might have been one of the reasons why I had a couple of leaks. Maybe I didn't wait long enough. Now the grooves inside my structure, including the two that I added afterwards, came in very handy when putting in the liner, which was very easy with my paint mixing stick. And it'll become very useful when putting the cement board on. Now I keep repeating myself, but there is a 3-inch above the curb line rule as per the TCNA, and that applies also for the cement board. So when you put your cement board on afterwards, you will not be able to put nails below that 3-inch line. So if you have a lot of liner accumulation, it'll kick your cement board out of plumb, and those grooves come in very handy to prevent that. Also, you may have noticed the plastic and the cement boards came in the way of my installation, and it didn't have to be that way, because the TCNA handbook says that the cement board has to be 1/4 of an inch above the mortar bed, and that is the step that'll come after the pen liner. The mortar bed goes over the pen liner. So I didn't have to do this ahead of time. Although I've seen a lot of YouTubers do this, because some YouTubers actually put the cement board within the mortar bed, which is not recommended. So if you want, you can wait to do your mortar bed and then do your plastic, if you want to do plastic, and your cement board after the installation of your mortar bed, which is the next step.